loved ones, friends, acquaintances, poets, musicians, all of you. There's really bad shit going on in my life, in all of our lives, or at least all the people I know's lives, and a lot of people I don't. I'm losing my house. This is the last night I have here. And I came to this conclusion in this whole mix. Among all my promises, new YouTube channel, whatever, books, music, all of it. It doesn't matter where I live. To quote myself, as lame as that is, I hate that most of the time when I see that, is home for me can be anywhere. Home for me is like being here. When I'm home, I know I'm there. It's stupid, but not really. It's deep. It's transcendental. And right now, zealots, nonconformists, everyone, religious, non-religious, proud, passive, aggressive, we all have something in common. Do you know what that is? We're people. We're people who will at one point in our life see the edge. That thing that's so romantic that's really not. It's really nothing more. I'm not supposed to do this. But because this is my last night here, I'm going to anyway. We don't have time to be fighting amongst ourselves if we are trying to make positive change. There is no room for that. Things are rocky, they are unsteady, they are painful, and they are scary. And not for us. For me right now, yeah, it's terrifying. But I can look at it and go, oh, I'm so scared. Or what I can do is this. And I can just go, I'm going to keep fighting. I'm going to fight for stability. Mental, physical, any of it. And you can do it too, if you have to. I've been thinking some real nasty shit lately. Poetry night has been my absolute, it's been the best part of my week. And that, the numbers have been slim, but people still come out to it. And I still see something bigger going on. To have a weekly poetry night that is completely uncensored right now is unheard of. People don't get to speak their minds. They don't. There doesn't get to be a discussion. And when I do hear people talk about deep personal things, as brutal as it sounds, and at this point I don't really care how it sounds, because anyone that knows me or that wants to know me should understand I do in fact give a shit about all the poets in Eugene, about all the poetry scenes, about all the open mics, all these little things. But when I see people competing with their personal feelings because they don't know there's a place where they can just go and express that, something's wrong. Okay, there's something terribly wrong with that. I'm going off on a tangent. You gotta forgive me. I'm trying to figure out how to word things. You know, I'm known as a pretty light-hearted guy most of the time. I'm also known as a really intense and dark person with how my attitudes are. I challenge every end of it, and especially the stuff I really believe in. Why do I do that? Why? Because you shouldn't say you question authority if you don't. You shouldn't say you question everything if you don't. If you don't question yourself, if you don't question your own morality, if you don't question rhetoric, especially rhetoric around what you believe in, if you don't know what that rhetoric is and what other impacts that can have on people, you're not really helping anything. You're not really doing anything. And at this point, the most I can do is run this poetry event, this microscopic, not really anywhere poetry event, and keep it alive and try and keep that spirit alive. You know, we lost a lot of famous people last year. We lost the election last year. We lost people we love. We lose people we love every year. Someone has. At least once a week it happens to someone. At least once a day. But this year, this marks the end of an era in a lot of ways, and specifically in this segment of Lane County. One of the most well-known among, not really, I wouldn't say well-known, it hasn't been written about yet. Well, at least not by anyone other than myself, is this place that was in Coburg. It was my friend's house. It was the barn. It was an anything-goes fucking environment. Free from politics. Free from bullshit. If you wanted to smash something, you could. If you wanted to have a deep fucking conversation, it's not getting forced down your throat. It's happening normally. It's happening for real. And it's gone now. And I saw it happen. I read a eulogy. As cheesy as it sounds, I read a eulogy there on the night of the final party. I read it in front of a big old pile of burning debris. It's like 3 times my size, maybe bigger. All on fire. It burned me. But I had to say something because this place had impacted the lives of so many. Positive or negative. And it had been a safe haven. And it had been a place you could go to escape and see your friends, drink a couple of cold ones if you drink, smoke weed if you smoke weed, or not, play video games, walk around in the fields, have fun, play. And it was a wild, wild party scene. You could see, I saw depth there in history. And I saw all of that history get thrown out windows the last time I went. And I was right there throwing them. Throwing these things, TVs. We were throwing TVs, tables, swords, everything. So much. Beer bottles, thrown at beer bottles. It was, this doesn't really describe it well, but it's the end of a fucking era. Our comfort's gone. We have to find a new way. I know I do. I don't know where I'm sleeping tomorrow. I don't know where I'm sleeping the night after. I have no idea what's going to happen to me. Except one thing. I'm going to survive. 2 things. And no matter where I'm staying, I'm going to keep doing poetry night. It's necessary. It's necessary to have a place that's not completely politically oriented, where it's safe to be that way, but where that is not the whole focus, where it's creatively oriented, and where you are free to be yourself, unless you're a bigot. World's in chaos. It's up to us to keep it together in our own lives and to be tolerant of others, to have discussions, to disagree peacefully. There's a lot of talk about Nazis getting punched and shit, and you really can't argue against it, but at some point in time, these fucking crazy motherfuckers are going to retaliate, and that's how it goes. So whether you're for it or against it, either way, they're going to retaliate. And if you're really serious about the whole matter, you got to think about what you're going to do. Me, I got poetry night. It's not much. It's not marching on Washington. But you know what? I've seen it help people. And it's helped me. And nothing's going to stop it.